Tuperos y Tuperas, today on DOOP By The River, we have some breaking news to break to you guys here today. We just had a match yesterday against the Red Bull that we're going to break down, and of course, we're going to look ahead at what's upcoming this upcoming weekend against the Columbus Crew here at home at Subaru Park. And don't you worry, guys, because you do not want to go anywhere. You do not want to miss this episode of DOOP By The River. Let's get started, guys. Done! That is right. Welcome, everyone, to DOOP By The River, the show where we follow everything Philadelphia Uni, brought to you by Philly Sports Network. Thank you so much for tuning on in, guys. This is a two a week. We got the second episode of DOOP By The River. Of course, the Union schedule is busy. That means we are busy, and we are happy to present to you guys this new episode of DOOP By The River. Before we move forward, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching this live on El Parcero Philly's YouTube channel or on PSN, we're live on PSN again here tonight. Definitely do us that favor to hit that like button for both lives and make sure you guys are subscribed to both channels. And of course, if you cannot watch this right now or you want to listen to it later, we're on PSN Radio, and you can find that wherever you stream podcasts from Apple, Google, and Spotify. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today I am joined by my man. He's looking very dapper, very fresh, watching Thursday Night Football. My man, Mr. Zach Labasa. Zach, what's going on, my man?
Nothing much, just hanging out, man. Like you said, watching Thursday Night Football, and just enjoying the day.
That's all you can do, my man.
Absolutely.
That's all you can do. Absolutely. And of course, also joining us here today, my other expert in duping. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Justin Sell the Spirit Steve Freiberg. What's up, Justin? How you doing, my man?
I'm doing pretty good. It was a bit of a wild night. Picking my parents up from the airport and making my way
downtown, walking fast, faces passing them homebound.
I was trying not to go the 1,000 miles out, but here we are.
Justin, why is your name not Justin, the almighty knower of draws against Red Bull Freiberg tonight? Because that's really what it should
obvious.
be.
Called it again, dude.
Too obvious.
I guess.
It again. We'll talk about those good fortune that Justin has, and of course, I'm thankful to have Zach and Justin here with us today. We got a lot to get to. Of course, like I mentioned, we have to review what happened yesterday up in North Jersey, and of course, we have to look ahead because we're back home. We're going back to this. We got to face off against a tough matchup with the Columbus Crew. But today, we wanted to start off, guys. So it seems as if this news is official from the Post-Cincy. They have reported that Chris Albright, in fact, will take the job as general manager of FC Cincinnati. We kind of saw this coming. This is a guy that's been looked at the past couple seasons in the MLS. And, we talk about this in other sports. This is the sign of progression for a franchise club, whatever you want to call it. Chris Albright, he's been here since after his playing days. He's learned within the system, and now over the past couple of years, he's learned from Ernst Tanner, as we know, has done some pretty good things with this club, and now he's going to get his opportunity to rebuild for what we know to be a mess in Cincinnati. His job is going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot to kind of put the Cincinnati team to where people thought they were going to be in their expansion year. But we'll start here with Zach, man. What do you think of this news for Chris, and what do you think it means for us?
So obviously it's a loss for the Union. Clearly he's done some good stuff with the players we've been able to bring in from the youth academy and on transfers. And I'm sure he's had a hand in both of those things. The loss for the Union obviously is pretty big because of that. You're going to have to bring someone else in. I'm assuming that he had someone working under him who was being, groomed to take his position at some point anyway. But for him, it's a great move. He can really make his mark in Cincy because they really stink. So any positive improvements for them simply go straight to him because he's the one who brings the players in. So as a GM, he's got a lot of pull, a lot of responsibility, and And if they start improving as a team, you have to look at him as one of the main reasons that that's the case. And I think going into a team that sucks as a GM is kind of a win-win situation because of the fact that like they already suck. So any improvement, like I said, is going to be touted as the GM's doing.
These are all very true points that you're bringing up here, Zach. Justin, I do find it very interesting. We like to make fun of Cincinnati, but they spend a boatload of money. They don't really produce much. Now, it's funny because Albright has been part of this Union, like kind of resurgence or rebuild, whatever you want to say, where they have been using a lot of development and buying cheap players and getting the most out of them. But we all do forget that he was part of that LA Galaxy tenure when they saw David Beckham go there and they spent a lot of money. So he's seen the best of both worlds. How do you think he can fix Cincinnati, or can he fix Cincinnati?
I said this when he was rumored with the San Jose job, and as soon as this got started with Cincinnati, either way, it was a good move for him career-wise. But the positions themselves for Cincinnati, he's going to have his work cut out for him. It's not just, oh, well, they can spend the money they can. They can. It's clear that, though, that their scouting department is terrible.
Yeah, it definitely stinks.
Like Brenner, for all the $13 million you pay for him, which, by the way, was at least like 3 or 4 times above his market value at the time. It was just insane. But I think it's clear that it doesn't seem like they have a clear identity on what they prioritize. Are you going to... There's three real mindsets when you have to develop a roster. You have either spend a boatload of money and just spend, aka the Atlanta method from, like, I would say 2017, 2018. That was their thing. You have spend a decent amount, but also develop, a la Sporting KC, FC Dallas, or the two. I wouldn't even say Seattle I would throw into that, because they develop some pretty good talent.
Yeah.
So I'd throw them into that middle. And then you have teams that really don't spend any money or spend very little and really promote from within. And that's obviously like, the Union. And I don't know where they fit, because they've been throwing all this money at this team. And it's clear they throw it up top, but at the same time, there's no defense. I mean, they signed a unproven striker for $13 million, and then they go and get Jeff Cameron on a free. Who thought a 36-year-old washed up former U.S. international would be a great idea to shore up that defense? Now, don't get me wrong, Luciano Acosta actually started to show why he was worth the signing. I think even, he shows that, okay, yeah, he can be an integral part. It's just Brenner really ain't it. And then you have all these various, signings that I don't know, like, what their identity is in terms of a true formation, in terms of a true, philosophy. Like, there's so much wrong. And it's very clear with that organization, you don't get a lot of time. So it's almost like I hope he does well, but right now it feels like he's set up to fail, just because the way that organization is run, it's kind of a mess.
And the one young guy they drafted, Frankie Amaya, they got rid of him. He's at Red Bull now, and
we saw him last night.
And he's a good player. Like, he's not getting the minute. Now, I'm sure when Caden Clark leaves, that kind of opens the door for Frankie Amaya to kind of fill that gap in the long term. But, like, he saw the writing on the wall clearer than they did. He was like, I need to leave this club because they don't know what they're doing. And that's kind of a tough spot to be in.
I agree with you. I would assume that Albright would come in here and like say, like, look, FC Cincinnati, I just came from Philadelphia. We put in a plan. And obviously, like, Albright saw from like the Ernie Stewart days, which took like 3.5 seasons, and then he leaves, and then Ernst Standard comes in. So I would assume that in that meeting, he would talk about the process and how it would take to bring Cincinnati to where they want to go. I'm assuming Albright's going to do it similarly to how the Union do. But I'm interested to see, like, what's, let's say Cincinnati does develop a line of some talented players, and they get some solid play, and then they're close enough. Cincinnati is been known to put the bank account out there. Who's to say Cincinnati doesn't buy themselves that killer DP that we've been fishing and killing for so long? But hey, wish nothing but the best to Chris Albright. I think he's going to do great things at Cincinnati. It's going to take some time. But I'm a believer. I'm a believer in this system. I'm a believer in these ways. But PJ has a question, Justin. What are you wearing, sir?
He is correct. This is the recent Providence City kit. It's I believe it's their no quarters jersey. It's pretty dope. I've had it for a little while now.
PJ, also tell your buddy's dad to keep me in mind for a job at Cincy Academy if they need any coaches. I am always looking for coaching jobs.
Apparently, it is a mess. So
I'll fix it. I'll fix that mess.
So I don't know the pipeline.
Around.
I don't know the pipeline in Ohio, how deep that is. Obviously, we've been pretty lucky in the Philadelphia area. But I mean, you got to compete with Columbus, so they better be winning out there.
I mean, Johnny, that pipeline's full of Skyline chili, right? That's how it works.
Our area's pipeline is loaded with it's crazy
wild.
How talented.
Can we develop a striker
just one,
just a striker?
Oh God, Justin, please.
Like what was it at the tailgate for the Atlanta game? Richie Leibowitz, one of the Union's owners, came by, and the Academy tournament was going on, and he was like so proud, and he was so excited about talking about it. And I said, Richie, I said, it's weird that like with all the players we develop, and we've developed some goalies, developed some defenders, we've developed some midfielders. I said, why is it that we can't seem to develop a striker? He goes, honestly, I don't know. But he mentioned Quinn Sullivan's brother, and I also mentioned the Central American brothers, the kids that signed a few years ago. Like those are kids that they're hoping on, and I'm like, okay, that's what we need. I would love to have a homegrown striker that goes on to come to the U.S. number one.
I would love it. Give me Ricardo Pepe in the Union area.
But realistically, how many stud strikers has this country produced?
1.5.
I will give you Brian McBride.
Josie was that guy for a while.
I mean, Brian McBride was definitely the most consistent.
Yeah, Josie had that stint of like 2 or 3 years where he was very good.
Where he didn't get hurt?
Yeah, where he was just good. Like, he was the Josie that everyone thought he could be for a couple of years. And then that was it. Hopefully Ricardo Pepe's the next dude because he looks the part. Like, he is a complete forward.
God, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice, man?
Well, I mean, we've gone to Brazil to look for a striker. We just haven't gone to France. I'm trying to think of other good striker nations, but I mean, I'm just
Germany?
Like that's just
Belgium.
That's true, very true.
Find me the next Lukaku.
There you go. Well, we have a Norwegian, Erling Haaland's pipeline there. And we'll talk about that in a second. Glesnes, those runs in the box. Ohio has some great talent, but not a lot of them play for Cincy's Academy. I personally know a few players who left the academy and who were starters as well. A lot of that's been going on. Like Justin and I were talking to Campbell's brother on Saturday, and there's a couple players that were part of the Union Academy that went down to Atlanta.
Well, that was a little different because that was when Atlanta's academy was starting up, and I know he was close with Joseph Samuel, who also went down there. He was from Atlanta, and who apparently is currently in Denmark. And they said, it was pretty common for a lot of those players. They were moving down there, and they said it was kind of what was happening.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, hey, listen, nothing but the best to Chris Albright. Hopefully he turns FC Cincinnati around for those fans because those fans definitely do not deserve that. But gentlemen, we have a match that we need to discuss. Last night, your Philadelphia Union traveled up to North Jersey to an empty stadium. That's
That
we'll
was
just start.
just
Indeed, they said
amazing.
9,000. Like no shot unless they were all behind the camera.
So look, we actually had this conversation on the preview show with Matthew from the EPL boys. The fan base right now is in a little bit of disarray. There's a lot of people upset with other supporters group. Obviously, the whole front office, very understandable. But not even 10,000 people at a rivalry match. I thought that was wild to see. I literally was like, is this a limited capacity? Are we in the heart of COVID again, like last year? But listen, it was what it was. But I will say this to Red Bull Nation: you guys should have been proud of what you saw last night because I'll ask this question a little bit, but I feel like the Red Bull are playing much different than what they did 2 weeks ago, even like looking at this match, they started off. I thought that they were the hotter team. They had some better opportunities. We were able to get lucky on a corner kick that Sergio was able to tap in. Then 20 minutes later, Omir Fernandez, what a shot! I didn't even know when he got the ball off. And the next thing I know, Andre Blake's diving and it's in the net. And
That was
that was a
because
leveler right there.
Well, that was because the camera cut away the highlight reel.
Yeah.
So by the time they cut away, the goal happened, and everyone's like, "What just
They're
happened?"
like back to regular action, and I was like, "Yeah, the
Oh,
goal
it's like,
just happened."
what?
I was
You
like,
made me
"Why
miss
do
the
you-"
goal.
Yeah,
That was pretty funny. But listen, the second half was pretty chippy. The referee was working. All right, he was digging down in those pockets a lot, fishing for some yellow cards.
dude.
But
What
in
was
the
the
end,
one yellow in the second half that really pissed me off? There was one.
Jack Elliott.
Yeah, I think it was Elliott's. That
It-
one really bothered me because he was just asking a question. The ref gave him a yellow for no like.
And Andre also got one. I didn't understand. Like it literally
Was he out of bounds?
some of those yellows were so silly, and yet honestly, Andres Reyes should have had a second yellow when he took down Sergio. And by the way, not only no card, no foul.
Remember, I called that, Justin.
That was insane. That should have been that would have been his first yellow, and then he would have got a second one when he hurled, when he dragged Sergio down in the second half.
Yeah, and then Brujo got his for being.
Well, that one was. I mean, it was stupid, but
I don't think it's a yellow, but like any ref could give that. Like I personally, like if that's the first time he does that, I'm not giving him a yellow.
But I think because
he
had just talked to him.
It's him.
Well, he had just talked to him too.
Yeah.
And he does that, and the ref's like staring at it, and he just goes like,
"Yeah,
at that point,
you're a fool."
You're tempting fate on that one.
Yeah, dude. Like you got to just chill.
Even Royer was arguing with one of those yellows. He got
for all the ones that the Union got, Danny Royer should have gotten one for his incessant whining.
Isn't that what he always does?
I feel like that's what everyone always does to MLS refs anyway.
That is pretty true there. So what I want to ask you guys: did the Union play down, or did they deserve this point? And I'll start here with Zach because everyone seems to have different opinions on this. Some people seem to be upset with this result. Some people seem to be okay with the point in Red Bull Arena.
I think you're always going to be okay with the point. It's just the fact that like they could have won. Like they didn't really play very well. And against a team that is in what are they like 10th place, 12th place,
or 11th now, maybe 10th because of that draw.
You should be beating those teams handily. Like we play Cincy and you expect to win by at least 2 or 3 goals. It's the same with Red Bull. Like, and I know it's a rivalry game and they're always closer. And they're always closer. But at the same time, like you put out your second best 11 because Montero is playing where he shouldn't have played. And if he scores that goal, if he scores that, which he should score that,
yeah, dude.
we aren't in this situation where we tie that game. Because then the goal probably doesn't happen for Red Bull and we cruise. But because he is not a 10 and he's in a position where he needs to perform like a 10, the Union suffer. And you tweeted about how everything's Jim's fault, and I thought that tweet was very funny. And I tweeted, I was like, no, the only thing I blame Jim for is constantly starting Jamiro at the 10 because he stinks there. He stinks. And people were saying, like, oh, he had a good game. I'm like, no, he did what he's supposed to do. He didn't score when he needed to score. And as a 10, that is part of your job description, to score goals when you're in a position to score goals. And Jamiro does not do that. And he also doesn't get assists. So what does he really do?
Although,
now, he did get an assist on the corner, didn't he? Did he get the assist on that corner?
No, technically Glasses, I think, did.
Oh, did he? Okay. Yeah, so he doesn't get assists. So what is he good for?
Although, Zach, I must ask, who is the leading assist maker on the Union this season?
Well, if it's Jamiro, what does he have? 4?
He's at 5, and I think he's the leading assist maker.
Yeah, but that's my point.
That's not very much.
That's bad. Like, that's not.
I know.
Like, if you think you're a 10, you should pride yourself on how many assists you get. And if you look across the Eastern Conference and you see Carlos Gil at 16, you're like, God, I suck at this. Or does Jamiro just be like, no, I'm still good. I should play this position. Like, no.
You know what? That's and you know what's else as well? The curious case of Anthony Fontana, as I always say, because I'm like thinking, okay, so if you want to get, you want to give Gazak some rest, you want to switch it up, and you don't really trust Paxton, like Fontana would seem like the most logical answer.
He would have scored that chance. Fontana would put that away too.
He can't even see the pitch though, is the problem. Like, he's not even getting bench minutes.
I think it's his like when he played the 10 at the beginning of the season and last season. He lacks that creative aspect that you look for in a 10. Like, he's a good goal-scoring 10, but he doesn't create chances for other people.
But we need goals right now. That's the fact of the matter.
But I think you could play him up top. Like, if you're going to play him anywhere, I think you put him up top. As like a false 9 second forward type of thing, where then Sergio can run off. That's another debate. I know Jim said because Sergio's history of injury, but how in a game where it lacks pace already do you bring off your fastest player and leave on your slowest player? Like, I don't get that at all.
That is a very good point. We'll switch over here to Justin. What did you think? Did you think that the Union played down to the Red Bull, or did they deserve this point?
I kind of agree with that. I think they deserve the point. I mean, listen, Red Bull needed 3 points more than you did.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty true.
You still have that game in hand. So you can still get to second place, because Orlando and Nashville offset each other, dropping points. Like, there was a lot of people like, oh, DC's in third. DC's also played one more game, and they're like 1 point above. Like, let's like, they're playing well, but let's slow that roll. Listen, in an away game at Red Bull midweek, where I think the focus more is going to be on the weekend against Columbus, who are starting to play a little bit better. I'm okay with it now. PJ, I'm going to disagree with you on the Miro would have more assists if our strikers were more consistent. No, he wouldn't. He's not a 10. Like, he does not have the vision. He is like, I understand 10s can be selfish, but when he's selfish, he just gets double and triple teamed and the ball gets stripped from him.
Yeah, like, if you're a selfish 10, like, you better be scoring goals. Like, you can't be a selfish 10 and not scoring. You either have to create or score, and he does neither.
And it's just frustrating because, I mean, the refs weren't exactly. Chilowitz was. I'm sorry, that was awful. That was a horrible officiating. The Union got so many soft yellows for basically nothing, and Red Bull was manhandling, and maybe not even a foul. Like, it definitely felt like typical midweek road game. But I think if you're subbing off Sergio, which I think he could have been subbed off earlier because he did play 85 minutes against Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then he's playing 70, 75 against Red Bull. And if you're hoping to cap him for Sunday, I don't think that's the best idea. But then why not sub on Davo? Like you subbed on Paxton, who gave you a burst of energy, but Davo is that other striker that similar to a Sergio that is going to run in behind. And I mean, people talk about the game against New England. Well, he was like the only thing besides like Quinn and Paxton worth a damn during that game because he created a lot of chances. And at this point, I don't know what it's gonna take for him to get on the field, but at least with with Brujo getting that silly yellow and getting yellow card accumulation suspension, we won't have to worry about the Will Gazdag not be on the field because I mean I got to imagine that you're just going to move Leon back and then maybe you finally move Miro back to the shuttler, which he is, and you put Gazdag up top.
Do we see Bueno maybe?
I don't know, man. That I don't know, but at this point, like I'm okay with this draw, and the reason I predicted draw was because it's a Union Red Bull game. It's an away game. If it was a home game, I would have said maybe 2-1 Union. But North Jersey, that stadium is just listen. We've gotten better at it the last few years, but it's still a tough place to play just because that's North Jersey. I mean, does anyone really want to be in North Jersey?
In the middle of Harrison. PJ, so the announcers, so it says here there's 3 of them. Now, I am familiar with Steve Cangelosi. He is the play-by-play guy. They have Shep Missing and Steve Jolly.
Shep Missing is like he's a legend in soccer. If you've ever like my dad raves about Shep all the time because my dad grew up with Shep Messing as a player. Dude was a good player. He also, if you've ever watched him when he was interviewed by the Cooligans, he also did a I'm gonna say tasteful spread in a magazine. He was young. He needed some money. He was gay. He was a sex symbol. He was a sex symbol in the 70s, man. From as much as soccer players are sex symbols in the 70s. But yeah, I couldn't listen to the I like Shep, but he was just I get the away feed, so I was just like, I'm not listening to this.
I believe they are on the MSG network up there in the North Jersey or New York market. But Steve Cangelosi I've listened to before, but only for hockey. He actually does a solid job with soccer as well. But those are your Red Bull announcers. It's definitely no JP and Danny Higginbotham. So we got that on them. But I will say this. I think that the Union deserved the point. Like Justin said, it's tough to play up there. It is a semi rivalry game at this point. It was an empty stadium. But the Red Bull, I feel like they like Zach said as well, they needed this win. They definitely had some momentum going after the NYCFC win up there, and it's clear that they're rolling on that, and they have played much better, and they played like the underdog, and they played hungry, and that could be very dangerous. And I wouldn't say that the Union looked down on the Red Bull, but the Red Bull definitely had a bite on the day, and they have some good young players. I will say that Yearwood kid made some nice runs. Duncan's pretty aggressive.
Yearwood is good.
Yeah. Fernandez's goal I thought was spectacular, and even Kilmala didn't have to do anything. He really didn't do much for the Red Bull last night as well. And I thought defensively we did really well. I forget who it was on Twitter. I'll look it up later and I'll give you the credit. But they put out they showed the tables, right, and they showed the goal differentials and the goal the Union scored. And it's clear as day what this team is. When you look at the stats, this team is a good defensive team that just can't score, or it has a deficiency at goal scoring, and that's pretty much what's going on here. But how worried are we feeling now after another game with this Union attack? How are we feeling, Justin?
I'm not worried. I mean, I think again, Miro at the 10 stifles the offense. But from what they were able to create, there were some good chances, and I think they're finally starting to really get, I mean, the biggest thing was if Leon could just have a slightly better cross a few times, like they were getting in the positions. It was just that last piece that, listen, they've been, you're still a slightly condensed schedule, so you're kind of, getting stuff kind of, you're a little tired legs, but I think midweek, against Red Bull, I think it was, if you'd gotten 1-0, I think it would have been okay, but I don't think 2 goals, like you could have gotten it, but the offense looked fine, and I think I'm not any less worried than I was after the last game.
Absolutely. I agree with you, my man. I agree with you. What about you, Zach? What did you think of the attack yesterday?
The issue that persists, besides, well, hey, by the way, Casper needs to score next game or he's not consistent by my metric. Just so we're aware. But Casper's inability to, like, because he's slow, right? And when we counter and he's the furthest one forward, and we try, but I don't necessarily only blame him either. Why are players on his own team still trying to play him in behind? You know he's not gonna get there. You know it. He's
fine as the hold up guy to play out the attack.
Yeah,
but he's not the guy stretching the D.
No, and my high school coach always used to say, KYP, know your personnel. You as his teammate know he is slow. So stop playing him in behind and giving up chances to attack. Like, that is just a waste of the opportunity.
Was it right at the end of towards the end of the game when it was like he danced through like 3 defenders and he's still the only one, and I'm like, oh God, what is gonna happen? And then Jameer, like, he tries to play that Jamiro pass, and I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, the one Jamiro pass, Sergio would have been through, like, on goal in the first half. Jamiro gets the ball. Sergio's like on the left end or left sideline, and you can see he's making like a run, like that's going to go behind the left back or behind the right back towards the goal. So he'll be in on goal, and Jamiro tries to play between the right back and the center back with his left foot, and he hits it right to the right back.
Oh, he tries to do that outside the foot thing.
He could not have played a better pass to the other team. And I was like, why are you in attack? Why are you there? Like, you would not, like, Gazdag would have definitely made that pass for sure. And I just don't, it bothers me. It bothers me. if you guys couldn't tell.
I feel like watching. I feel like when I watch Casper Shabilko play, I feel like I'm watching myself play, because I feel like when Casper is out there, I think in his head, he thinks he's moving faster than he actually is. And that's how I feel when I'm playing. So
if he thinks he's moving fast, then what are other players moving at hypersonic speed? Like,
dude, maybe Sergio is compared to everyone, but like how you getting? I don't know, man.
It's absolutely rough. Absolutely rough. But listen, at the end of the day, we walked away with a point. Like we said, you're going to take that point by all means. Right now, the Union are in a 4-way tie for 4th place with NYCFC, Atlanta United, and Orlando City. So let's separate ourselves. Like I said, there's no reason why we can't be the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference, although there's some teams that are playing pretty damn solid. So we'll reconvene and look at that. But gentlemen, it doesn't get easier, because up next for the Philadelphia Union, we'll be back at home, a 4:00 kickoff right after the Eagles, by the way. And we'll be facing off against the Columbus Crew. It's funny. This is gonna be the 3rd time we face them this year, 2nd time at home. Thank God we are not going to that new Crew Stadium. Now it looks beautiful, but I still feel like we will struggle if we go out there. I feel like it's just Columbus in general. So it's still going to be tough. Now, the thing with Columbus, they just got done actually yesterday while we were playing the Red Bull. They played in a Campeones Cup, so they were actually playing for a trophy. unless unlike we were going for the Turnpike Trophy, if that's even a thing. But they won. They won. They actually won the MLS trophy. They won the Campeones Cup over Cruz Azul.
Is this the version of the our version of the Community Shield with Liga MX? Because like it's the MLS Cup winner, I guess, against the league winner for Liga. I don't know.
You guys want to hear this? You guys want to hear the stats for this final?
Let's hear.
They won 2-0.
Yes.
They were outshot 16-5. 5 on target for Cruz Azul, 2 for Columbus. Columbus had 25% possession and were outpassed 566 to 197. And they won 2-0.
And one of the goals was an own goal.
Yeah. And they had 68% pass accuracy.
As someone who supports Cruz Azul, that sounds so Cruz Azul.
that is unbelievable.
So listen, Columbus hasn't played the way we thought they would, especially coming off of last year where they won the MLS Cup. They still have a lot of those key players. Caleb Porter is still there, but surprisingly, we were before the show, we were kind of, fishing around for some facts on Columbus. And I'm shocked that they are in 9th place in the Eastern Conference. And I don't even know where I missed that they are in 9th place in the Eastern Conference. But here's the thing. Right now, they are on technically a 4-game technically a 4-game unbeaten streak here. Yeah. They beat. This is stemming back from September 4th, where they beat the Red Bull. Then they drew to New England. They beat Montreal, and of course, yesterday they beat Cruz Azul. So this team, it seems like they're starting to gain some steam. And look, they have a really good midfield led by Zelarayan. Of course, Darlington Nagbe. We know how dangerous he is as a defensive midfielder. But he's been moving up and down. I saw him play high up yesterday against Cruz Azul. Caleb's giving him some more responsibility, which is wild to think because that dude is taking advantage of that. And obviously, for all my U.S. men's national team fans out there, they also do have Yazi Sardis. And from my understanding, this will be the last. Do we have international break coming up? This will be the last match for a lot of these guys. Lucas around, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I believe he's Argentine. He will be representing Armenia now for an international play. That's a fun tidbit for you guys out there. But Zach, how worried are you of Columbus this upcoming Sunday?
I mean, you normally wouldn't be, right? But Columbus we always go play Columbus like pretty tight. It's usually a pretty tight game. And Zelarayan is definitely a serious issue simply because he's so good. Like he is that 10 that you think of like I always say, like most teams in world football nowadays don't even play with 110. Like no one really uses a 10, but it is prevalent in the MLS, and he is one of the guys. Him and Carlos Heel and guys like who am I thinking of? Why can't I think of names?
Nico Ladero?
Yeah, Valeri. Guys like them, right? They're peak players at the 10 position. He's one of them. And Zardes is a serviceable, actually probably better than serviceable MLS striker. So they're dangerous for sure. And like you said, 4 games unbeaten. So it's going to be a tight game, and it's definitely a game that the Union could draw or lose. But I don't think that that's going to be the case at home.
I agree with you. My boy Leon makes a great point here. Nobody can. I think he's saying shoot outside the box. All the teams know that the attack consists of crossing balls from Wagner and Mbaizo.
From very poor positions as well. Like just from 35, 40 yards out, whipping balls in, which is not a good way to score.
He brings up a very good point. And, last year we didn't have to rely too much on those crosses because the high press was working very well. And a lot of those goals did come off those transition plays. So it's definitely been a little bit concerned. But, Justin, I'll steer it to you, my man. How worried are you about this Columbus Crusade?
Not crazy worried. I mean, yeah.
We're at home.
Yeah, I would say that's the biggest thing too is we're at home. I mean, yeah,
Columbus has to deal with you.
Nagby is a good box to box. Celeron is arguably one of the best 10s in the league. And Giassi, for all this crap I give about how he's not a great national team striker, he's a pretty good MLS striker.
Fair.
And I've been saying this every time with Columbus, if you shut down Zelarayan, which I know is not an easy task, but they seem to do a pretty good job of neutralizing him the last game. Like, I think the more you can kind of kick him out of the game, the more you can dictate the game. And especially at home, especially on a run of, I'd say, relatively decent form lately, I don't think there's any reason why you can't grab 3 points here.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. Get the positivity rolling. I love it. Justin, let me ask you real quick. You are the president of the ball club in the MLS. Where does Darlington Nagbe rank amongst those balls, my man?
He's favorably on the list.
Yeah, his head is shining.
And I mean, you can't dislike the guy. He's just generally a good guy.
That's true.
And
that's true.
And you know what? He was an Atlanta player, dude. I respect the ever living crap out of Darlington Nagbe. He's a beast, dude. And
also when he hits goals, it's goals of the week, man.
Always.
You ever see his him on the volley? Like freaking forget about it.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't do that to us, though. That's for sure. But all right, Zach. So here's what we'll do, guys. We'll do our lineup predictions. Zach, give us what you think the lineup will be, and then Justin and I will tell you if we agree or disagree, sir.
Casper, Sergio, Gazdag, Montero, Bedoya, Flock, backline the same, and then obviously Blake in net.
Blake in net. Okay. Where are you steering? Because I disagree with something, Justin.
I honestly mostly agree with that lineup. I think the only change I could see is resting Sergio for like maybe bringing him on in the second half, and maybe doing a Quinn or a Davo or Paxton. Like I think if any game were to give Sergio like a sub appearance of 20-30 minutes, this would probably be the game.
Do you think it is that Davo is not like ready or like there yet to play with the team? Like, because look, so we're on. So I'm thinking of Matish Orvich right now. And I'm not saying that everyone is an Orvich, but we all saw that we were wondering why Orvich wasn't getting play. Like he was losing minutes to Warren Creval, which we love Warren Creval, but we know his deficiencies on the attack. And now I'm looking at Davo, and we did see him play against New England. I thought the pace was great, and I didn't see anything else. But obviously, that was like 30-minute sample size of Davo. I'm just wondering why he's not getting minutes. Like, is it
that? I don't know. I mean, and also the thing is, though, we don't have a ton of time to figure that out because he's on loan. Right?
Yeah,
he's on loan only for the rest of the season. So, like, it's not like Orvets where he was a transfer. Like, this is if Davo isn't get playing time, doesn't really work out, he just goes back to Brazil. It was like we don't really know because we don't know what he can really accomplish, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think the main like my thought process with that is like as a forward, you don't need to be like ready. Like your job, especially in the way that Davo plays forward, is to just cause havoc up front and get on the end of like long balls that may come to you. Like just exactly what because Sergio doesn't do anything with the interplay. Like if anything, he hurts the interplay. So I don't understand why Davo like there's no reason why Jim should be like, yeah, he's not up to speed with the team. You don't have like just put him in and let him cause some havoc up front. Like you don't need him to connect play like a true number 9 would, like the likes of like Lukaku or Giroud or guys like that who are big and strong and physical, or even guys who like Suarez or Lewandowski who are more like poachers who can still connect play. Like no, you're putting him up top to just run in behind and make defenses uncomfortable. And that's not a really tactical thing that players need to figure out how to do. I'm sure he's done that his whole career, albeit a short one. But like I don't see, it makes zero sense to me why he hasn't played besides the New England game.
No, Zach, I completely agree with you. And honestly, I was right there next to Justin. When we saw him come in, and I thought he had enough pace to play in this league and play with
He
these
was
guys.
good. Like he was decent. Like I was like, all right, like he's got the Sergio gene. And and honestly, like he's more technical than Sergio from what I saw in the 20 minutes or whatever he played. He's more technical. So if you can get someone who can dribble with tech and be that fast, like that's dangerous. So why he hasn't played, I don't know.
And not for nothing. If you're coming up in the Palmeiras system, you're no slouch. All right,
No, you're going to be a decent footballer.
Yeah, like I don't know. I just think we need to see what we got. I'm not saying he needs to start, but he should be coming off the bench at least because we don't have a lot of time to see what he has. And if we let go a good striker because we didn't want to give him an opportunity, that's a problem.
Imagine like we let him go, and then like Atlanta signs him and he becomes the next host of Martinez. I think that would genuinely
the shithousery.
I think that would be. I would just have to clap for Atlanta. I'd be like, you know what, fair play to you.
Do you guys think El Brujo gets some rest here?
Well, yeah, he's out for the game for the yellow cards.
That is correct. I just remembered that one.
Yeah.
Well, good point. Good point. All right, but all right, let's get to some prediction time, guys. So yeah. Survey says El Brujo will be out. But let me get those prediction, guys. Justin, you could start here, my man. What do you see happening Sunday at Super Park, and give me that final score?
I definitely think it's going to be a bit of a chaotic game. I know Columbus likes to have possession, so I think it's going to lean. I mean, listen, the Union usually aren't leading possession in most games.
Although that could be a good thing, Justin.
Oh no, I mean that's the way the Union play. At this point, like I know that's what I expect. I think it's going to be a very back and forth. You have two teams who can turn it on, but are also two teams that are pretty defensive. I'm gonna go with a 2-1 Union victory. I think if this was away, I think I would have leaned more towards a draw. But I think the way that the Union are playing, you still have a game in hand, which I'm not sure when that comes into play. Like, I haven't figured that one out yet. It's you're a lot of your games now are on the road, so you got to maximize these home points.
Yeah, we only have 3 home games left out of 9.
Yeah, so like you're on the road for a lot of October. You got to maximize the points at home when you can.
Damn, man. Start planning your road trips, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to Minnesota. I already got my ticket.
Oh, I'm jealous, dude. I just want to see Allianz. That's all I really
care. Oh yeah. It was that I think section 5 behind the net, row 3. Oh yeah, you'll see me on TV.
Dude, you better wear like 3 hats. It could be cold that time. It gets cold in the Midwest.
Listen, I'll wear my orange, my bright orange cap. You'll be able to see that head.
We see Justin. All right, Zach, what do you got for us, man?
I think 3-1 Union.
Wow. Whoa. Wait, what?
Zach,
wait. Hold up.
Is there an earpiece? Is Tim in your ear? Like, what is
surprise?
You've been way more positive lately. What is going on now?
I think 3, which is so weird because I feel like my takes have been so much more negative. But I just think that like Columbus has has been unbeaten in their last 4, which means I think they're due. I think they're due for a letdown. And coming to Philly is always tough, no matter which team you are, right?
They probably were partying after last night too. They're probably still hungover.
I mean, they gave up they gave up 2 to Cincinnati. Like, we can score 3 on them for sure. Now they only let up 1 to New England, but it happens sometimes. So
But this matchup's interesting because we don't usually play well in Columbus, nor do they usually play well here.
yeah,
So,
exactly. So I think 3-1. I have no idea who's gonna score. I hope it's not Casper for my agenda's sake. But
Give me a Casper hat trick.
God,
Wait.
please no.
Zach's got to hide at that point.
And then Zach's gonna have to get his I love Casper tramp stamp.
Dude,
If
Casper scores 3 goals, I'm gonna I would be willing to bet money if he scored a hat trick tomorrow that those would be the last 3 goals he scores all season.
Oh my God. You know what we'll do? Well, this is what we'll do. If he scores a hat trick on Sunday, there was this GIF that the Union put out. It was god awful. It was essentially like the whole Casper the ghost thing, but they put Casper's face like as a ghost, but it was just creepy. And that is what we're gonna tattoo on the sack.
Yeah. We'll have to
We'll
talk
put
about
Casper.
that one. I don't know if
We'll have to rewrite Zach's contract.
Yeah, I don't know if I get paid enough to get a Casper Sudoku tattoo on my body.
That'd be pretty good.
We'll have to talk to Liam about that.
it's in the Philly Sports Network budget.
Yeah.
I do believe we will win as well. I'm leaning more towards a 2-1 than a 3-1, Zach. But I think that the Union will find a way to get it done. I think Columbus will come to play. I think Columbus will get like an 80th minute goal. But I don't think they'll have enough to win in 90 minutes against us. So it'll be big. It'll be big 3 points. Like I said, guys, we are in the thick of it in the Eastern Conference, tied for 4th, and every point matters. And I mean, sheesh, could Columbus be looking on the outside in the playoff picture? That's the way it works, man. This Eastern Conference definitely has some parity here.
Yeah.
But guys, that is going to do it for another episode of DOOP By The River. Thank you so much for tuning on in. Of course, we'll be back at it next week. It's funny, guys, because we go from one Ohio team to another Ohio team. So get ready for that one, guys. Bring your skyline next week. hey, you gotta be nice now. Chris Albright's there, so
both Ohio teams stink. How about that?
Awesome stuff, guys. Guys, don't forget, if you're watching this live on PSN or part of Philly's YouTube channel, make sure you guys hit the like button on the lives and subscribe to both channels for all things Philadelphia Union. And of course, you can find this podcast on PSN Radio. You can find all of your Philly Sports Summer podcasts on PSN Radio. You can find that on anywhere you stream podcasts, Apple, Google, and Spotify. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Justin Sell the Spirit, Steve Freiberg with that beautiful kit. We got Zach Glabasso with the dapper look. Of course, I go by the name of El Parcerofle. I realize I look like a freestyle rapper. I do apologize. It's been a long day.
Nothing wrong with that.
We're dropping some bars at the end, and I do not want to drop bars. It'll be bad. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back at it next week, and we're telling you guys to do ball. Talk to you soon, guys.